really couldn't have gone any better. A complete Indian flavor to France's most important day. Gaurav Sawant, who's been our man on the ground right through the last couple of days in the run-up to these amazing celebrations, is with us live, and he was lucky enough to bear witness to India creating history at Bastille Day. Gaurav, it couldn't have gone better. An incredible performance by the Indian contingent there, both on the ground and in the air.
Shiv, you're absolutely right. I'm standing exactly at the same point where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron were sitting. This is the saluting dais, and you can see the magnificent Champs-Élysées behind me and the entire Arc de Triomphe at the other end. Now, in the morning, we came with the troops before the parade formed up, and we've sent out those images. The excitement that was in the air was palpable for all to see. The Indian soldiers and the French soldiers. And while there was the spirit of camaraderie, the French soldiers were telling the Indian soldiers that they will march as well as the Indian soldiers, except that their marching is very different. And they say we are not used to raising our hands all the way up to the level of the elbow and then all the way back like the Indian soldiers do. And we've captured some of those images and conversations on our phones and our cameras for India Today's audiences. I also spoke to the commanding general of the ground forces, General Shibov, who said that it's actually been a privilege to lead this Bastille Day parade with the French President and the Indian Prime Minister, as the Indian Prime Minister being the guest of honor, because France realizes the importance of one of the world's strongest emerging countries that will have a big role to play. It's something that the French President also spoke of about in India's importance, not just in the region but across the world. But let's talk about the parade. The best that France had to offer in terms of military hardware was on display, and that is what the French President was also explaining to the Prime Minister. France is undergoing a major reform in its armed forces. It's getting a lot of new equipment, a lot of network-centric equipment, and Shiv, you'd understand why this is very important. This is equipment where communication is key, where air, ground and sea
Absolutely.
are interlinked on the same communication grid. So from air and on ground, it's the same. What the air sees directs the ground, and that's the kind of weapon system that France is moving on, integrating all of it. General Shibov was explaining some of that to us here on India Today. So the new armored fighting vehicles, the new tanks, the new weapons that the infantry is also carrying, all of that he was explaining. France displayed it on its Bastille Day.
And so beautiful that India was a part of this and graced that occasion, added so much color, so much flavor and so much honor to the Bastille Day celebrations. Gaurav, thanks very much for that. Remember, the Prime Minister's day is far from over. There is a delegation level meeting at the Élysée Palace in a short while from now, and a joint press ceremony where the announcement of India and France agreeing to negotiate over a Rafale deal and a Scorpion submarine deal is likely to find mention at that point of time. All of that will be live on prime time here on India Today. Gaurav, for the moment, thank you. Prime Minister Modi's presence on the Bastille Day celebration, a day after being conferred with France's highest honor, is an apex in India-France relations. He had the rare honor of being the only international dignitary in attendance. It's never happened before. A 269-member contingent marching past on the Champs-Élysées from another country is another extremely rare honor. Take a look at this full wrap of India's big Vishwa Guru moment in Paris.
The resounding beats of pipes and drums. India's tri-services march down the famous three-lined Champs-Élysées in Paris. France extends one of its most spectacular recognitions to India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the guest of honor on the Bastille Day parade, an annual event that symbolically marks the birth of the modern French Republic back in 1789. The Prime Minister and the host, President Emmanuel Macron, watch Indian and French soldiers marching alongside in disciplined footsteps. India's 269-member tri-services contingent in all its splendor. Their steps echoing a centuries-old legacy, transcending borders and cultures. India's patriotism resonates through the French air. Bands played out the iconic Sare Jahan Se Achha tune. Prime Minister Modi took the salute. The hosts applauded the visual symphony of synchronized marching and captivating music. The Indian Army contingent, comprising of 77 personnel and 38 members of the band led by Captain Aman Jagtap. Commander Bharat Baghel led the Indian Navy contingent. They move ahead with measured strides. Here comes the Indian Air Force contingent, led by squadron leader Sindhu Reddy. A rhythmic cadence flows out of their steps, a masterpiece of military precision. Dressed in their resplendent uniforms, adorned with medals and insignia, India's tri-services displayed their timeless elegance of tradition, seamlessly blending with the spirit of modernity in Europe's oldest and largest military parade. India's French-made Rafale jets soared in the French skies above. A stunning flypast over the Arc de Triomphe.
भारत-फ्रांस की स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के 25 साल के उत्सव का इससे बेहतर तरीका और क्या हो सकता है?
The two countries commemorate 25 years of their strategic partnership. A moment of profound significance, a moment of strengthened camaraderie. With Gaurav Sawant in Paris, Bureau Report, India Today.